Hi, fellow Django developers. Hezekiah here from alwaysdjango.com, where we discuss interesting Django topics that helps you grow, improve as a Django developer. If that sounds interesting, like, subscribe, share this video with anyone you feel will find this video important. Let's get into it. So, this should be the sixth video in our Django generic playlist, Django generic view playlist, where we're discussing everything about Django generic views. We have discussed create view, template view, form view, and introduction. The last video is the list view, right? And that's from the last video, that's where we have this output right here. So we created if you have been following, you know we already created a person model, right? We are rendering out, we are using the list view to render out instances of the person from the person model, right? But right now, if you click on any of these, if you click on, let me reload. If you click on any of these, it's doing nothing, right? Sorry for the earlier mistake, is because I made changes and I forgot to reload before recording. So if you click on any of these right now, it's doing nothing, right? So what we want to do is, if you click on these, again, if you don't understand, if you don't know how to use the list view, or if you don't understand anything about generic views, you're in the right place. Just go and watch the playlist. It should be maybe 2, 3, or 4 videos before now, not more than 10 minutes each. So just look at it and come back here and continue. If you are watching on YouTube, the card should be popping out on your screen now. I also leave a link to it in the description so that you can go and look at it, right? So what we want to achieve is, when we click on this, we go to the details of of any instance we click on. So that's what the Django generic detail view is for. It returns details of a model instance, right? That's what it does. So let's go into the code. Let's go over to the code in our views.py file. From django.views.generic, we import details, if I can spell, detail view, right? So we create the class view, we create detail view. Remember, not the same name as this one. Our v right here is lowercase, the v here is uppercase, so you must not use the same name, or else it will error out on you, right? So we copy this, we import from it, then we specify the variable, the properties we need. So first one is the template name. The template name we'll say is details.html. The second one is the model you're working with. Model is person, right? The next one is context name person. Now, if you watched the last video, you understand what this context object name is. But if you don't understand, let me explain. This context object name is the name of the variable with which you want to reference this instance in your template, right? So this instance will possibly return an instance of maybe a person with, let me say, a name of always Django, then maybe an age of let me say 2 years, right? So want a way to reference this person, so that maybe in our template we can have something like person.name, right? So without specifying this context object name, I guess in Django you can also reference it with maybe object.name or object.age or so. But personally, I always specify this because it's more code, like it's better for you to specify, because it will be better for you to understand maybe if another person is looking at your code and something like that. So this context object name is just a name, the variable name with which you want to reference this instance from your template, right? So let's go over to our template. You say the name of our template is details.html. Let's copy this, let's create this, press enter. So I'll just grab what we'll be using since, let's say, from this list, let's copy this list view, let's copy this, come over here, paste it, right? So but we'll have to change some things. Obviously we are not looping over anything right here. So this for each, we already have an instance of the variable. This empty will not be here. The name of our context, the context object name is person, so nothing will change here. Person.name, person.age, right? So the next thing will be in our urls.py file, we import the details, the one with the small letter v. So we say path, let's say detail view. Now we say this pk, I'll come back to what I'm doing here. This pk, I'll come back to what it means. Then we say detail.as view, right? Because it's a class, so we have to use this as view method. Let's say details, right? So what is this pk, right? It means private key, right? That's what it means. So the detail view returns an instance of a model. So how will Django identify the instance it will return? Because there will be many instances. There will be user with ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, ID 1000, ID anything, right? ID X, as big as anything, right? So this PK is the private key or ID. That's the ID the auto-generated private key used to identify every instance, right? If you know about database, if you know about models and Django model, you know that when you create a model in Django, it automatically creates an ID field for you, which is used to specifically identify its model, right? So here we will have something like, if we are going to use if we are going to get a person instance of maybe with ID 1, we'll have maybe in our URL we'll have detail stroke ID 1, right? If we are going to return instance of a person with ID 2, we'll have stroke ID 2, maybe ID 1000 we'll have 123, ID 10 we have this, ID 12 anything. So why we are specifying it in brackets is because it's not static, right? It's changing. So that's what this ID is doing for us here, right? So if we go to our list, we said we want to, if we go back and refresh now and click this, it's not still working, right? It's not still working. So let's tie it up so that it will work. So go to the name of our URL. The name of our URLs is details. That's the name of this URL. So go to this list. On each instance of this person, the anchor tag here, the href here, we use the URL function, template function, and the name of the URL is this, right? Now we specify the pk. The pk, that's the ID of the person, is person, this person variable right here, dot and pk, right? Or you can say pk, you can say id, whichever one it works. So let's go back and refresh. If you refresh right here, if we hover on this, if you look at the bottom here, if you hover on this, look at the bottom here, you can see details underscore view slash person. You hover on this, you can see /2, you can see /3, /4, /5. So if you click on /1, you can see the details, you can see the name of the person, you can see the age of the person. Let's go back, choose another person, you can see the name of the person, you can see the age of the person. So this is how you use the detail view. You are returning the details of this person right here. So the next step, this will be in the next video. In the next video, we'll look at, let's remove, okay, not here, details. We'll look at editing. You know, right here we should have, maybe, let me say, a button, let's say a href that goes to edit, and maybe let's add a bootstrap class of btm primary, right? So when we come here, we want to maybe click on this button right here and go to a page where we can edit this user. Maybe you want to change the name, you want to change the age, maybe he has grown older, the person has grown older, the person changed his name, you want to change his name. So we want to be able to click on this button and edit this person and this instance field, these instant parameters, right? So that's what we'll do in the next video. Subscribe, turn on the notification to stay tuned, to stay informed, notified when we release new videos. In the next video, we'll be looking at update view, used to update instances of a model, right? So that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Have a nice day. Peace.